Hello. Good morning, Ted. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. I am Manila Chan. That over there is Ted Rall. Welcome to all the deprogrammers who have joined us from the raid. Hope you guys stick around. We have a fun show coming up for you here on the TMI Show, Ted Manila Information Show. But of course, we just go with TMI because if you've listened long enough, we really get into the TMI part very
That's
frequently.
really true. Yeah.
It's
That
very
wasn't
true.
always true. I think that was like something we just used to just say, but it's true
But
now.
But it's true. We've become like a community of friends where we all just kind of overshare every
True.
weekday, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. So please be sure to hit the like, the follow, the share, and the subscribe button. So you too can overshare all of your weird stories, because that's kind of what everyone does on the Rumble chat. I think YouTube is catching up. They're starting to overshare as well.
Yeah, they're getting there.
They're getting there. But the Rumble room is spicy. So we're going to take your advice, the listeners out there, and not preview, because we're just going to kind of freeball it.
By the way. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just kind of freeball it because we may or may not get to all of these stories. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and hit the jaws, and we'll jump into the first story on the schedule.
Love it.
Why not? All right. So this one is the story that I think will haunt the Trump administration forever, Ted, and the royal family. So this is like across the pond, all around the world, actually. So there are some new and chilling details that have emerged in the posthumous memoir of Virginia Giuffre. You guys all know she's the blonde woman who was probably the most prolific Jeffrey Epstein victim and accuser of Prince Andrew. And
there's that really famous photo of her with Andrew.
Yeah, with Prince Andrew when she was like 16 or 17, and Ghislaine Maxwell's in the background. So in this memoir that was released, she died in April. She unalived herself, because we're on YouTube. She unalived herself, allegedly. There's still no evidence of any of this, by the way, because I've got all kinds of tinfoil hat theories on this, Ted.
Well, what do you mean? You think she's still alive?
Don't know. Maybe she's disappeared.
Yeah,
she's disappeared. There's no body, no evidence, no funeral, no photos of anything. There's no medical examiner report. There's nothing. There's nothing. Her family just one day. First, she said she was gonna die from this horrible car wreck with a school bus in Australia, right? I scrubbed the interwebs. In Australia, there were no reports of a school bus almost in a fatal collision with a very famous woman in Melbourne. Okay, so all of that was suspicious. She shows up on social media with all these bruises and injuries in what looks like a hospital bed. And then she's very specific, and she says she has 4 days left to live, and that she's in renal failure and all kinds of weird stuff. But then she lives beyond the 4 days. It becomes 4 weeks, 4 months. And then suddenly her family's like, oh, Virginia died. But please leave us alone. No photos. No, please.
Well, I mean, leave us alone is sort of a standard
of course,
crisis management response to a death in the family. Yeah.
But this is Virginia Giuffre, and all of these weird breadcrumbs leading up to her family being like, oh, she's dead, after she'd been saying like, I'm going through this ugly divorce with my husband of 20 years or whatever, the kids, and it's just all kinds of weird stuff. So you really have to, we don't have enough time to dig into it, but like I would advise you, Ted, I would advise everybody else to kind of look into her life the last year and how at least the way she presented it on social media. And there's all kinds of just weirdness around what was going on in her personal life. So I'll go with the narrative. Fine. Virginia Giuffre is deadzo. Fine. I haven't seen any evidence otherwise. That's all I'm saying. I haven't seen evidence that she's alive. I don't know that that's obvious. I don't have evidence that she's alive. I don't have evidence that she's dead. So she's like Schrodinger's cat.
Well, no one has ever. I mean, I don't have any evidence that Mickey Mantle is dead, but I kind of think he is.
Sure, you do. There's death records. There are death certificates.
There's got to be.
Like when my dad died, I have a death certificate.
There's got to be a death certificate for Virginia Giuffre. It has to be.
I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, and none of it's been produced. But anyway, so back to this memoir. So her posthumous memoir, released presumably by her estate, by her family, by her husband. I don't know, because she never ended up getting the divorce. It never finalized. She passed away before.
That's not absolutely necessary, right? Like you can for it to be authorized by the family. Like, so let's say I work on a book, and I work with on some with a co-writer. I send it to the publisher. Now it's in the works. Okay. That's it. The publisher rolling. Has it. I've already signed the contract. They don't need to get any permission from anyone else. They already got the permission. It's off and running.
Well, maybe, presumably, we don't know what her process was, where she was at. But anyway, the book drops, or is dropping in the coming days. And it's called Nobody's Girl, a memoir of surviving abuse and fighting for justice. Now, Virginia describes how in 2002, when she was 18, so I guess this is of legal consenting age, at least in the United States, but in 2002, she was 18. She says she was taken to Epstein's private island, the U.S. Virgin Islands, obviously, and handed off to an unnamed, quote, well-known prime minister. What followed, in her words, was, quote, more violence than I had ever endured. She claimed the man choked her until she passed out, delighted in her terror, and left her, quote, bleeding from my mouth, vagina, and anus. The battered survivor says that she the attack, she woke up during the attack, and to the depths of cruelty here, and marked this as her breaking point between her and Epstein. Because remember, at this point, she's 18 now, so still very young, but she had been groomed by Ghislaine Maxwell to give to nobody since she was younger than that, right? Like 14, 15 years old. So for several years, she's been kind of under Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein's care, I guess, if you will.
Tutelage.
Tutelage, yes. After her pleas to Epstein for protection against this particular prime minister failed, she began plotting her escape. It's her words in the book. In the book, she writes, I didn't know it then, but my second interaction with the prime minister was the beginning of the end for me. While the memoir does not identify him by name, this prime minister, past court filings by Giuffre had implicated Israel's former prime minister, Ehud Barak, allegations that he has strongly denied. Records show Barak visited Epstein's island and received millions of dollars tied to Epstein's financial network. Yet neither law enforcement nor Giuffre's estate has confirmed his involuntary involvement in this assault. So nobody's confirmed one way or the other, but we have Ehud Barak obviously still alive, and he's denying it. Giuffre's journey, obviously a harrowing one, recruited by Epstein and Maxwell at about 15, 16 years old, trafficked internationally, as she claims, and Prince Andrew has settled out of court. Ultimately, she emerged as the most powerful advocate for survivors, and brought other survivors forward because she spoke out so strongly, and allegedly has died at the age of 41 back in April. Her memoir reveals not just one act of violence, but decades of it describes decades of manipulation, control, culminating in a second trauma aboard Epstein's famous jet, the Lolita Express. So her book kind of forces this reckoning when the powerful target young, vulnerable people. Victims obviously struggle to be heard when you're a nobody, especially if you're a kid, right? So Giuffre's final words might be the hardest. Epstein cared only about Epstein. The full memoir drops next week, promising to reignite global focus on Epstein's network and the lives shattered in its wake. So obviously, Ted, we've seen outside of the Manhattan courtroom, right? Dozens of Epstein alleged survivors who were trafficked to nobody. Pam Bondi had the files and names on her desk, and then they just vanished. They might be at the Mar-a-Lago bathroom. They might be in Joe Biden's glove box. They could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. Kash Patela's on it. Virginia Giuffre, her memoir, brings up Ehud Barak. And there are more details to this, and I would advise people to like dig into this. But Ehud Barak got a lot of money from Jeffrey Epstein's, financial business, whatever that business was. So did the American businessman, what's his name, that runs is it like American Apparel? Big American Apparel brand, not the brand American Apparel, but he runs like, what is it, Victoria's Secret? Is that? Anyway, Jeffrey Epstein somehow tied to all these people, and Ehud Barak being one of them, and Virginia Giuffre making this claim posthumously that Ehud Barak beat the daylights out of her and left her bleeding from all orifices. All orifices. It's disgusting when you're thinking about, this is an 18-year-old girl. I don't care that it's legal age, consenting age, or whatever. It's still an 18-year-old. A high school senior is 18 years old.
Okay, so this is TMI, right? But I mean, so what do you, first of all, do you find her account credible? We can't question her because she's no longer with us. Do you think this is true? A, and if so, do you believe Barak is the prime minister in question?
I think the timelines align. The allegations, legal allegations that she brought against him, within those timeframes, that aligns. And if we could see the flight logs and who was a guest aboard the Lolita Express, and if match up the timeframes, then I think there's reason to believe her. I think, while I've been a staunch hater of the #MeToo movement, when it comes to Virginia Giuffre, this is case by case, right? Like, that's why I don't believe in Me Too, but I do believe in women case by case, on a case by case scenario. And in her case,
well, I don't
think
anyone
credible.
should believe all women. I think people should listen to all women. And then,
yes. And I guess, and we've listened to her. She's been very credible.
So, yeah, I guess the question is, there's the general, so there, yeah, there's so many, I mean, it's an onion, right? I mean, there's so many layers to unpeel. First is the question is she even a victim at all? Then it's like, if she is a victim, what exactly happened to her? Then there's the question of, if these things happened to her, what were they exactly? And then there's the question of who did those things? And then there's the question of, is there any way to hold those people accountable? And I suspect that we don't get to that last peel of the onion ever.
Well, because she's gone, R.I.P., right? I know Robbie has thoughts about this because he's chatting in the background. Robbie, what do you think? I'm with Virginia on this. I don't know about all the other women. I don't know about all their personal cases. A couple of them I've heard, but Virginia's case in particular, everything she has said seems to be spot on. Prince Andrew right now, just this weekend, lost all of his royal titles. He's no longer Duke. He's no longer nothing. His ex-wife, Fergie, is standing by him. Strangely, I don't know, but now over at the Parliament, they are talking about opening an investigation into Andrew. So this is now out of King Charles's hands.
And in England, You are not innocent until proven guilty.
You are not.
So this is out of the royal family's hands. This is out of the palace's hands. If Parliament opens this, this could, I don't know that they will, because this could actually implicate a lot of very powerful people who are still alive, including Ehud Barak, and it's going to be names, tied to Israel and Mossad, and it's just going to it's a can of worms. I don't think they're actually going to do it. They're just kicking around the idea.
If the House of Representatives ever opens up again.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why the government shut down. Is because Thomas Massie, he's able to force him. He's got enough votes to force the release of the Epstein files.
It's also why that lady from the new Congress lady isn't being sworn in, the Democrat.
Yeah,
because she's the 218th vote necessary.
She is, and so it's every single Democrat, and I think it's like 15 to 20 Republicans. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. Thomas Massie is one leading the charge on this thing. So now Trump, in a true America First Trumpian style, is now trying to primary Thomas Massie using super PAC money from the Jewish lobby to take out Thomas Massie in Kentucky. So if it's not true, then just release the files. I mean, Pam Bondi said she had them before she lost them. I mean, obviously
they might be in Joe Biden's glove box.
Let me play super devil's advocate here, because you guys know I agree with you on this. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that that inside the files is basically the following information. The only predator here was Epstein. He didn't share. He kept all the he kept all the treats and the morsels for himself, and that. There's all the names of his buddies, and so Trump and others are concerned that if they release the names of those buddies, that it's going to unnecessarily ruin their lives. Even though they didn't do anything wrong. It's like it's not illegal to be friends with a sexual predator, and especially if you don't know what they're doing. So what if there's like this list of 30 guys who are like sweet, adorable, perfect, law-abiding, never double parking, never park in front of the hydrant, always tip 25% guys, but they happened to go to the wrong parties, and now they're going to spend the rest of their lives being followed by like the New York Post, and they just don't want that.
Well, maybe they should pick better friends then.
That's not a good answer.
Well,
sure it is.
Look, you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. So this is the risk that you run.
Okay, hold on.
The risk that you run. But the thing is, I get the damage control. I'm not saying it is a good answer, but that's how the world works. And that's why Trump doesn't want to release it, is because it's not they're innocent is the problem. Okay. I think that's their innocence isn't the problem. And right now, Andrew is like the one name brand that's been taken down. He's been the one sacrificial lamb, right? And it's especially because the queen is no more. She's gone. She's passed away. She can no longer protect him. And Charles is like, take little bro, adios amigo. Like, don't implicate me. Take him.
So if you want a real answer, then what the issue would be is that the list would be released. The first thing you have to do is give Ghislaine Maxwell not only a pardon, but a formal apology, because you put her in jail for not committing any crimes at all. So she's as innocent and as pure as the wind-driven snow. So that's the first thing that you have to do. And then what you would do, this woman who then becomes a feminist icon, a hero, if you would, about a miscarriage of justice, she would then come say, so these 30 guys right here, all we did was just come and we sat on the beach and we roasted marshmallows. We did some fishing. There was nothing there. We had no idea this stuff was going on. You can trust me on this. This never happened. That's how you would handle this when it comes to damage control. The better question is why is Trump, who was elected because of a populist backlash, is then going to lie to the people who supported him about the fact that American taxpayer dollars are being used to pay the salaries of pedophiles in the American government? The lie isn't for our benefit. the lie is to show the pedophiles in our government that they are going to be protected at the highest levels by the best government that could be bought and paid for by special interest lobbies and foreign governments.
Well, or if it's my theoretical construct that not protect pedophiles, but protect buddies of pedophiles, and is that necessarily bad?
Yeah, because if you're a pedophile, Ted, I would not be your friend. I would say, listen, we're going to have to
so
just
judgy.
Yes, it is.
Just because a man is a pedophile doesn't mean that you should judge his personal choices.
Have you met me? The people on the program got to see Robbie on
sarcasm
last hour.
S. Okay, joking.
Ted's not a pedophile, I promise y'all. So
no. I'm definitely not. No.
Ted is really a good guy, and he's on the Israeli payroll. You can trust him. He has a cat.
Thank you, APAC. We love you.
Yes. We'll wait for that check in the mail.
Which, by the way,
the fee
Robbie,
is $7,000, right?
The story? Was that you that said that the biggest donor to APAC is the OnlyFans guy?
That wasn't
It's one of them. Yeah.
That was Ted.
By the way, you guys didn't answer when I sent that crazy story from the Washington Post about that child predator ring that basically looks out for disturbed trans kids and encourages them to commit suicide and to harm themselves on video.
Oh, I have not seen that.
I missed that.
I was like, remember I sent it out. I said, this is the most disturbing story I've ever read.
That one. Really? Oh, I didn't look at it. I meant to.
No, I meant to. We should talk about it tomorrow. It's one of the most disgusting things. I mean, actually, none of us shocks easy. I was chilled to the bone. Several of the FBI guys who investigated this committed suicide because they were so disturbed by what they learned. It is honestly, it's like you got to know about it. It's crazy.
Well, that's one of the stories out there.
That's crazy. Will that be one that would be safe for YouTube, or should it be only on?
We'll have to
premium.
just be super. We'll have to be careful.
I don't know if we can.
It doesn't have to be premium.
But yeah,
we just won't.
One of the stories we punted was, or we're at least tabling for now, was that one of the biggest individual donors to APAC in particular, who is part of the special interest lobbies who are anti Thomas Massey for obvious reasons, because he's the only one that won't take their money. Some of the money that gets funneled to them comes from the founder of OnlyFans. He and his wife, what's his name, Rabinsky, something like that, the founder of OnlyFans. But he's the biggest individual donor to APAC. He and his wife, and those are APAC is who. Well, look, Rabbi Dildo, what's his name? Shmuley. Thank you. And people might wonder, why is Manila calling the rabbi?
I was going to.
He sells dildos with his daughter.
You don't know, Ted?
No, I don't know anything
Shmuley?
about this.
Yeah, he has.
You don't know anything about Shmuley?
Oh, he has a website called Kosher Sex, and he runs it with his daughter, and they sell.
It's a family business.
Sex toys
no pig's feet involved.
Yeah,
Shmuley and Shmuley Juniorette, they own a sex shop, and they sell sex toys. That's how they make their millions, Ted.
The rabbi blocked me on. The rabbi blocked me on X as I was confronting him about this stuff, and he actually engaged with me. And I quoted scripture to him where he said, "You have your father, the devil," and I just pasted the Bible verse right there, and it's insta block. Wham! I actually got suspended from X. I got suspended from X.
I really blame him for that.
Well, he had it coming.
Dare you quoting scripture? You'd have been better off posting a dildo on his page.
Oh, 100%.
Or throwing it on the basketball court at the WNBA.
Right.
Yeah,
I wonder if he sponsored that.
Tusk is asking us to do the OnlyFans thing. Just stream it like a normal stream on Rumble and just skip YouTube. I thought that's a good idea.
Oh, drop it.
Yeah.
Drop the feed from YouTube. Maybe. Yeah, because look, YouTube will.
What's wrong with YouTube? What will YouTube
do?
Just because of the content?
Yes.
It could be. Yeah, we can get a strike. If we
They would call it
say
they would call it
anti-Semitic,
That's what they
yeah,
would do.
they would label it anything goes,
so
and they move.
strange.
You know this, Ted. They
Oh, I
move the
know. I mean,
goalposts
I don't even
whenever,
understand.
however they want. My personal channel got taken down, and they'll never explain to me why. They just said I broke their terms of service and will not explain to me why, and I have no recourse.
Well, look
right?
what they did.
Channel that I've had for like 15 years.
They did that.
Well, look
That's
what
a
they did.
deprogram too.
Well, yeah, because you said that Hamas won the war, which they did, and that, that's hate speech. It's just like, so facts
It's
are
anti-Semitic, right? So if we talk about,
yeah, by the way, saying that Hamas won isn't like
an endorsement.
It's an opinion. It's an opinion.
There
was a war. There were two sides. One side won.
So you can't, like, YouTube moves the goalposts a lot. So it's like you can't even just have a regular conversation. And it's not a fun conversation or a truthful conversation if you have to walk on eggshells. So if and when we do talk about that subject, we're going to have to kill the YouTube feed.
Yeah. We also need to talk about the Wokies saying Lord of the Rings is racist.
Well, that's interesting too.
Yeah.
Or like how, what's her face? Hello, Harry Potter. What's her face?
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. Thank you. Brain farts. I need more coffee.
Yes.
All the trans and whatever, they hate her, and all the American liberals are now like, and they hate Harry Potter, and they're really pissed off about Keira Knightley signing on to be like on the new TV show. I think HBO's running it now, or writing, I don't know, something based on Harry Potter as a TV show. And they're pissed off about that right now. So it's just there's all kinds of stuff coming out of the deviant back. Okay. I'm not calling it this, YouTube. I'm just telling the audience what it was called when I was in college, way back in the old days, Ted, before we had computers and laptops and iPads, when we went to college with a pencil and a notebook.
That's true. Little blue book.
It was true. It's true. So way back in the analog days when I went to college, I minored in psychology, and back then it was called, I took a particular class that was called deviant psychology. And mind you, this is like 25 years ago, right? Deviant, and there was a subsection, deviant sexual psychology. And some of it, and I'm sure in the garage somewhere, I still have this book from, 25, 30 years ago that shows what we would have back then, we were referring to them as a tranny man.
You would not call them tranny in the textbook.
Not in the textbook, but we would have said in class, like, but it was not meant like hatefully back then, right? We're talking 25 years ago. So that was married to a woman, and they stayed married and whatever. And there was a whole video about it.
So
he
wouldn't that
was
mean
a
they were
cross-dresser.
lesbians?
Yeah, I guess. So,
yeah.
So the husband never cut off his junk. He enjoyed dressing as a woman and stayed married to the wife, and they had 3 or 4 kids.
So he was just a transvestite.
He was just a transvestite.
Or did he identify as a lady?
He identified as a woman, though.
Okay, so then he was trans. He was a trans.
He was trans, but he was he cross-dressed and identified as a woman. So the wife, and this is video from 25, 26 years ago, where the wife had to, as part of my class, the wife had to discuss her new
You mean she came in?
No, in the video that was showed about this couple. She explained how she had to kind of adjust how she identified.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Herself. Right. So that
because she still loved her husband, who became her wife.
Correct.
So she then started. Did she start to identify as bi or as a lesbian?
Well, at that point, at that juncture, she wasn't there yet, because this is them talking.
Or maybe
to
you just sort of. Maybe I think what really happens is, in a situation like that, and you decide you're going to be with this person, I don't think you spend a lot of time, thinking, well, now I'm a blah, blah, blah. I think you're just sort of like, this is my situation. I'm sticking with my spouse, and forever, for better or for worse, and this is for better or for worse, and that's it, right? I mean, I think you're just sort of like, I'm into Bob, and if Bob is now
right,
Bobina,
and that's exactly what
fine.
I remember the wife saying. That the wife was saying, I love Bob. Bob and I have been together for 25 years, and
I'm not going to ditch Bob just because
Bob likes to wear dresses and makeup. Right? Yes,
but he didn't change. He's just a dude wearing a dress. He's still a guy,
and he still has. There's
no change.
Penis, so the sex is still the same, right? Presumably,
right? So the sex, right? All that's the same.
Or it can be.
Bob
Let's
just
put it
likes.
That way.
Bob just likes to shop with Susan in her, when they go to Sears
that could cause some bonding. Like, let's go to the lingerie section together.
Right. So there's
this
that.
Would look good on me.
That was all stuff 25, 27 years ago that was considered deviant sexual psychology. And that is all mainstreamed. The whole point of me bringing this up, and then we'll move on to our main topic. The whole point of me bringing this up is fast forward to today, where all of this is mainstreamed. It's no longer taboo to not only talk about dildos, but throw them out at basketball games onto the court, to be a rabbi and actually sell and market these things
with your daughter,
with your child. Like, just nothing. Society, look how much society has changed in a quarter century, in 25 years.
Oh, it's crazy.
It has changed that, like,
it's degenerated.
Right.
I would say
in
that
25 years, how much it's moved is
the trans thing is has evolved so much faster than other previous emancipation movements. If you think about it, that are based on identity politics. I mean, women agitated for suffrage for well over 100 years. The gay movement languished and suffered for at least 75 years before gay marriage was approved by the Supreme Court. The trans thing, and of course the fight against slavery and indentured servitude, that was hundreds of years. This is much faster, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's causing some social and political shocks, I think, because it's suddenly like, not everyone got the memo. Hi, Robbie.
You can send me the memo you want. I'm gonna put it right in the trash. I will never accept it.
Well, I think if we do an episode about that, like the trans stuff, the pedophile, like the super taboo, that's going to be one we're going to have to, like, as soon as we start that topic, we'll have to cut off the YouTube feed.
Well, and for those of you on YouTube, we're not talking about killing the YouTube.
We'll do a premium. We'll just do
a premium. We're not talking about killing the YouTube channel. It's just I would just be able to just end the stream there. Yeah.
Yeah, just drop the feed. And not even on
maybe
premium.
Make that the last topic or something of that day.
Yeah,
that'll just go full ham and just do a Rumble premium episode. That could be
but then
fun.
Not enough people will get to see it. But anyway, okay, so
we'll if they want to see it, then if they want to see it, all I have to do is for $5 a month, they can become a channel subscriber here on Rumble and support the show.
Oh, that's right. They offer that now.
So well, you got to remember, right? Because at the end of the day, you two are trying to build a business. And
yes, I forgot
that
that's offered. Is my point.
Yeah.
We need to say that more often, that you can support the channel and see all the premium content for $5 a month.
Or if you want to see all premium content across all of Rumble, then you just do it for $10 a month. Then we see the program, Putinbot Gaming, self same plug there. TMI,
right?
You can do all of the things and see all of the things. Yes, because
all channels premium. Okay, yeah.
Well, this morning on the deprogram, they got pretty freaking spicy. That was fun.
See, that's why you're the producer. You're supposed to know all of these things. Okay, so next topic. Let's leave that one there. Robbie, I'm going to bump you off first, I'm going to bump you off. Hold on. Okay, Ted. Before we get into this topic. I'm gonna play some audio. Let me know if you guys can hear this, because this is my favorite. This is my favorite cursing video.
All right.
But I'm just gonna play the audio. because I don't want to get a strike from YouTube. So let me know if you guys can hear it. It's 30 seconds. Okay. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Go, then you go to
Thumbs
hell
up.
and go down.
Why you get fried,
Yes,
man?
why? Are you crazy?
You're fucking
You are
paranoid,
fucking,
man.
you are fucking.
You fucking, you bloody.
You bloody.
Fuck you, bloody. Bastard, bitch.
You
fuck you,
bastard,
fuck
you.
you. Bloody, fuck you, bloody. Fucking mother, bloody, fuck, bitch. Benchwood, bloody.
Branchot, you.
You blunder.
No, but why?
Bloody no.
If accident, then what you wanna
Why
do?
you fuck me? I fuck you, bloody. Bloody bastard. Fucking running like lady, eh?
Clearly Indian. Clearly, no question. Yeah.
That is my favorite cussing each other out like that's ever been caught on video. There's just it's my all-time favorite. I hope everybody could hear that. Ted, you heard it, right? Obviously, because you're laughing.
Oh yeah.
But it's
Perfectly.
whenever I think of cursing, that's what runs through my head. That's the audio that plays in my demented little head. So
And
please
rightly
tell
so.
us the story. Tell us the story,
Okay.
Ted. Tell us
Here
the
we
news.
go. And now a deep dive into what your swear words say about you and your country. A far-reaching new study explores how taboo language reflects culture, emotion, and social norms from Italy to Germany and beyond the Axis powers of World War II. Last year, a research team led by psychology professor Simone Sulpizio at Italy's University of Milano-Bicocca launched a massive survey of everyday profanity across 17 countries in 13 languages. What they found challenges what we thought we knew about swearing. Take Germany. German speakers in the survey rattled off an average of 53 different taboo words, more than 3 times the list produced by English or Spanish speakers, who averaged around 16. Sulpizio attributes this in part to Germany's capacity for inventive compound words. Insults like testicle goblin, Hodenkohlbald, or intelligence allergic person, Intelligallergiker, emerged. He told The Guardian,
Testicle goblin.
I've heard cock goblin. I think I like testicle goblin better though. He told The Guardian, German, with its seemingly endless capacity to build new compound words, could simply offer more options. Italy, meanwhile, stood out for its volume of religious blasphemy. Italian participants listed 24 church-related swear words, including 17 versions of what was translated as fucking God. Sulpizio noted this likely reflects Italy's Catholic tradition, gee, you think, and cultural proximity to the Vatican. That's an example of the impact of cultural or society differences. Across the board, research found consistent patterns. Men and extroverts generate more taboo words than women and introverts. On average, they probably just generate more words, right? On average, people swore once every 2 minutes of speech, though this varies hugely by context and culture. Profanity might be unpredictable, but it's not random. Crucially, taboo words perform dual roles. They damage and heal. According to Sulpizio, during a classic ice hand test, people using taboo language could endure discomfort longer. When they produced the taboo word, they were able to keep their hand longer in the ice. So these words like fuck, shit, piss, shit, that shit is fucking cold, fuck, shit, piss. These words can be used as a kind of emotional regulator. The study forces us to reconsider the old stereotype that swearing equals bad vocab or poor intellect. Of course, we already know that there's all these studies that show that the more you curse, the smarter you are. Anyway, instead, researchers say profanity is emotionally rich, socially steeped, and deeply revealing. Spanish and French speakers used fewer words like shit compared to English, which is a very scatological language. And while bitch appeared in dozens of languages, the target varied, reflecting sexism encoded into speech. For cognitive scientist John Andoni Dunya Beltia at Spain's Nebrija University, who co-authored the study, the conclusion is clear. These words can be more offensive or less. They can be loaded with negativity or with irony, he says, but taken together, They offer small snapshots of the realities of each culture. So the next time a curse slips out, remember, it's not just the heat of the moment. It carries history, emotion, even culture. In the word of the researchers, your swear words are less a mirror of ignorance and more of a window into how you think, feel, and maybe how your society lives. I love this story. I believe in its thesis.
Me too.
I think it's
the
completely
whole
true.
ice bucket challenge thing, I think that's true. Because, like, I know when I got, like, all my tattoos, there were, like, some people go in pissed drunk, but then you end up bleeding more, right? So I would go in au natural, get my tattoos, and I'm in my head, I'm going, motherfucker. I'm cursing, like, under my.
What do you mean, au natural? I'm not going to let that go. This is the TMI show. So you were naked to get your tattoos?
No, I mean, like, natural, no drugs, no alcohol.
Because when you
no
say
numbing,
that's what au natural, that's what that means.
I know, but I'm saying this in the actual, purely pure, sober. But what helped me?
I went with a friend
in my brain,
platonic friend,
cursing.
Female. She got her belly button pierced. She experienced an orgasm from the piercing. I asked the guy.
Okay, so there was no cursing there.
I asked the artist, and he said that's not. It's not unheard of.
Well, I think people curse when they are doing that too. So yeah, I mean, obviously.
Damn.
And
although it'd be very strange,
a lot of blasphemy, Ted. During
it'd be very strange to have your partner come and be like, piss, shut, shit, fuck, goddamn. You're like,
there are people.
Am I not doing it right? What do you know? What's
there are those weird people, like you said, about like the English language being very scatological. We're really into shit, and you know that there's a lot of people in English that sexual deviancy world that I studied.
English is, of course, a Germanic language with a lot of French influence, thanks to the Norman conquest in 1066, and so it has some of the soft curves of a Romance language, but it also has a lot of fricatives, so yeah, thus the fuck, shit, piss, crap, all that stuff. There's also, and this topic doesn't even get into obscene gestures. So, like in Central Asia, they don't give you the middle finger; it's the pinky finger, and people go like this, like
what?
That's the finger in Central in the Stan countries, like
in the
Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan. Yeah, usually often deployed to the militia, who are the police. Yeah, it's like totally like they literally like honk their horns.
Don't the British do like the two finger, like something like, I don't know.
I don't know. That's vaguely
it's a two finger thing. It's like a two finger, like
and of course there's the Italian thing, right? Like that.
Right. And then you could do like from Friends, you can do the Joey from Friends.
Yeah, that one I don't even understand. Like, what is it like?
Under the chin,
like,
I don't know.
This I understand is like fuck you, but like
yeah.
But what's
it
this?
was like the under the chin.
I rub my chin in your general direction.
Like fuck you, like fuck off. I think is what that means.
I got into it with a lady on the street yesterday. I was walking behind her, and she was walking behind me, and she was super loud on the phone, and so irritating. So I literally just stopped.
Walking in the street?
Yeah, like you know how some people just walk the same speed as you do, walking in the street.
Oh.
And she was walking right behind me, and I'm like, I just don't want to have this fucking loud bitch screaming in my ear. So I just didn't do or say anything. I just stepped aside and stopped. And she goes, "What? What's wrong? What'd I do?" And I'm like, "You're too fucking loud." And then she's like, "Fuck you." And I'm like, "Eat shit." And we got into it. I'm like, well, I'm the bad person. I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just like trying to like avoid her, right? Like what? Like
well,
her first
her first response to you is like profanity laden comment, like
right. So of
then
course,
fine,
obviously,
she
I'm going to
deserves
tell
it.
her to
Like,
fuck off. Obviously,
if you just stepped to the side and like looked at her, and she was
I
like,
just
"What the fuck
literally,
you looking at?"
I just looked at her to see like what was, to make sure I
Like,
wasn't
why?
going to be like walked over or something, right? Just to get out of the way of the flow of pedestrian traffic.
But this is like so New York for the first thing out of her mouth to look back at you and be like, "What the fuck you looking at?" Like,
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is like when I was 15, or no, actually, I must have been like 12 or 13. I was walking in the old Hills and Dales shopping center. It is no more, in Kettering, Ohio, and there was this like redneck and his girlfriend who was wearing like a really tight top, and she had huge breasts, like just massive, no bra, things are sticking right out, like full pencil. And of course, I'm like 13 years old, and I'm like, ugh. And the guy's like, "What are you looking at?" And even then, I had the presence to say, I said, "You know damn well what I'm looking at, and you want me to look at it." And then I ran away.
oh, look. This, I
Like,
love.
come on, you don't go out dressed like that. Oh, I can't believe people are
Obviously.
staring at my girlfriend. Oh, really? She's wearing Daisy Dukes. I mean, give me a break.
Obviously.
It was the
but
70s too, so like far more unusual than
tops.
now.
Very tube toppy era. That's when the girls started coming out. But anyway, I love these like studies into language, and like the whole article, you guys can go read it yourselves. It's published on The Guardian. But I love the study of linguistics, right? And like this is that. Like, and
Totally.
it's looking into that. And it tells you so much about the culture. And like the Germans, I never would have thought, Ted, that the Germans would have more foul language than, say, like us really annoying Americans, especially New Yorkers. I would not, like, they dropped, not the F-bomb in particular, but they dropped bad words more than double the amount that Americans do. That's a lot.
That does not surprise me. I mean,
really?
Yeah, and it's not because I thought of the whole compound word thing, right?
I didn't think that. I just thought culturally they were.
But that it makes sense once they mention that. No, to me, it's just like, it makes perfect sense, because the Germans, I mean, first of all, English comes from German, right?
Yeah.
They're OG. So, maybe it just boils down to that. But also, Germans are very like aggressive people. So of course it would strike me. I bet like I'd be really curious to know where Japan ranks on Japanese ranks and all.
Oh,
this.
with language?
I bet it doesn't. They don't have that many curse words.
Huh. I don't know. I'd have to look into the study, but the article is all I saw, and I thought, oh, Ted's gonna love this story. Ted's gonna love it. So
you know me well. No, when I was a Japanese, when I worked at a Japanese bank, I had a Japanese American English dictionary for obvious reasons, and I was constantly looking for curse words, and I had to find things. Like, I was very excited when I found the word for bloody excrement, which is called ketsuben, and I was like,
there's a word for that.
Yeah, for bloody shit. It's ketsuben, ketsuben, and like the. So I would tell my boss, like, this client is total ketsuben, and he'd laugh.
Yeah, I would like to see within the Asian languages, because if they studied like European languages, Western languages, like I'm sure they had to look into some Asian. Like, and I also think
you have to.
You have to. And I feel like there would be fewer curse words in like Nordic languages, like the Finnish or the Swedes.
Really?
I feel like they'd be less.
Do you think they're just super polite? Yeah, maybe I'd probably agree that that's probably true. I bet Chinese is very rich in
bad words.
In bad words, because they're an agricultural society, and so people who have like an earthy culture are going to be more likely to make references to like pig fucking and all sorts of, you know what I mean? Like they're going to talk about like animal and secretions.
Maybe we'll see if we can get our hands on this actual study and, you know,
we should invite one of like the
researchers,
Italian professor. Let's bring her in.
Oh no, it's a he.
Oh, even better.
His name's Simon.
They curse more according to the study.
I would love to talk if he talk like this.
like Super Mario.
My head, anytime I hear like Italian professor, Italian whatever, in my head, that's what they sound like.
It's a spicy meatball.
It's a large pizza. I've been to Italy.
You know, Italians are listeing to us, are cursing at us right now.
I know. Yeah, but I've heard Georgia Maloney speak like in person, and when she's very good and guarded about reining in her like stereotype Italian accent. But I've heard her go off script when people were like pelting her with questions at CPAC. And the more it sounds more like this, you know, like it becomes more melodic as she gets unscripted. When she's on her talking points, it's very reined in. It's very like just some kind of vague
My mom
European
could really control
accent.
herself. She had a very thick French accent, though, like really cliched.
It was really pretty. The French accents are really pretty because they're you know, like coming from a woman, not so much from a dude, but more from a woman. I think they're like melodic.
I agree with that too.
It's more. There's more sex appeal. By the way, there's breaking news that Warner Brothers Discovery is already seeking a sale, and you know who is under the Warner Brothers Discovery umbrella? CNN. Remember, they just separated the entities like a couple months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like MSNBC did the same thing. They just like separated the media entities. Well, now Warner Brothers Discovery with CNN in tow, they're also in the HBO umbrella. They're announcing there's another sale. So I don't know. It's going for scrap, Ted. I think that's what's happening.
I think
it's going to the junkyard. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if Larry Ellison is going to buy more stuff because he's buying it for pennies on the dollar, I bet. But effectively, the Ellison family is probably going to own the whole of American media at this point after he's, you know, purchased Skydance, Paramount, CBS.
I can't stand the name Skydance.
I don't think much about the. I don't know. It's fine.
It's
I feel like it's a wannabe Native American-y tone.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's dumb. But anyway, okay. Next story, real quick. This one's very quick, and it's something that annoys me, especially because I'm the parent of a little one. Yeah, it drives me insane. So new food allergies in the U.S. have dropped 36% over the past 10 years, according to a study published yesterday in Pediatrics. The drop follows a 2015 landmark trial on peanuts and shifting national guidance on early introduction to food allergens. Researchers analyzed electronic health records for roughly 125,000 children from 48 pediatric practices across the U.S. They looked at cohorts of children ages 0 to 3, so basically from birth to preschool, before and after a 2015 trial found feeding peanut products to babies cut their allergy risk by over 80%. So 80% was the cut baseline. Guidance was then updated later that year to encourage early introduction of peanuts to high-risk children. Today, parents are encouraged to introduce peanuts and 8 other common allergens to children as early as 4 months old, regardless of risk level. By 2020, an estimated 57,000 fewer children developed food allergies alongside the evolving recommendations, according to the study, as pediatric practices slowly update their guidance to parents. So again, obviously, because I have a small child, you would not believe, Ted, like when he started preschool, the fucking laundry list of like do's and don'ts if you want to celebrate your kid's birthday, if you want to have a party. Like, what happened to the fucking old days where your parents could just bring cupcakes to school and, like the last 30 minutes of class, the teacher allows you to have a birthday party with your classmates for 30 minutes and everyone eats cupcakes and then the bell rings and everyone goes running out high on sugar, right? Now it's like, oh, you got to look at the peanut allergies. Oh, some might have the soy allergy. Some might have dairy allergies. You got to look out. You just can't have any fun. You can't have anything anywhere because there's this weird phenomenon of suddenly everybody claiming they're gluten intolerant. Everybody's freaking peanut intolerant or allergic. Like, I don't know how or why this happened. And then all the parents are like shielding their little bubble baby from everything, right? And like, for example, with me and my son, like me and my mom have two very different views on raising him. Obviously, he's my kid, but I get in fights with her about it. Is that I want him to go out there and be barefoot, lick some dirt. Go ahead. I don't care. Like, go do it. And my mom's like, oh, precious first grandson must be clean all the time. Put bubble wrap on you. Like she wants
time to deploy some of those Laotian curse words.
And I'm like, Mom, you're going to turn him into me, who I developed allergies to everything. And I had to introduce allergens to myself. I became hyper allergic to everything. Perfumes, fabrics, it could be anything. It could be like an allergy. Like it could give me a headache. It could give me eczema. It can anything and everything because they treated me like this precious little bubble child. I had no exposure to anything. So I got really sick and I don't want that for my son. I believe in exposure and you build up tolerance. And Robbie, you got thoughts on that. I think it's true. That's why you look at kids like in the Amish families, right? They're so much healthier than kids in, say, the rich
they
families.
Live with animals too, right? Like farm kids who have exposure to animals, because most disease vectors
in Santa Monica
from animals. Right.
Look, go to the West Side in Los Angeles, and you see all these parents that are like, "Oh, we're gluten free, we're vegan," and their fucking kids are sickly and gangly and skinny and dying. Like, it's terrible, terrible. Let your kids lick the floor, eat peanuts falling off the floor. Send them to a bar where peanut shells are on the floor. Go have them lick it.
Shovel crap at a ranch. I mean, that's what you do. I mean, that's my son's first job. He learned how to drive a tractor before he learned how to drive my truck. And they're shoveling cow crap and mucking out stalls. It's good for you. It builds character. And speaking of cuss words, you learn new words. You get a vocabulary.
It also builds you. It does seriously build up your tolerance too as a young person, because your sense of smell is so powerful. You're easily nauseated, and it helps when you become a parent to not be like, oh my God, it's the smell of the diapers. It's like, you can get through that a little more easily.
Deal with it. I mean,
like this. This is such a not only a first world problem. Like, I don't know how it was. Was it like that, Robbie, for your kids in school in Montana, or is this like a California and like coastal thing, like a DC thing, where they give you a booklet of like do's and don'ts, what you can pack for lunch, what you can't pack for lunch, what you can bring for birthday parties. It's just maddening when I get it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional, but it just stands to reason that if you shield them from everything, they will never build a tolerance for anything.
So when our kids are in elementary school and middle school, it would be 20 below zero and they'd be outside playing. This is Montana. Now the Californians that got imported, we have no meetings with the school board, and the imports are talking about how this isn't very safe. Little Johnny's getting sick. This has to be changed. And the people who live here just like, if you don't like it, by all means, go back from whence you came.
Like that's
so, yeah.
I mean, it would be like city folk moving into an Amish community and being like, I don't like that you guys use a horse and buggy because on the roads there's big piles of dung. I don't like that.
there are.
And the Amish would be like, well, get the fuck out then.
Yeah,
I mean, they wouldn't
These
use
are
the
special
F-bomb.
Amish curse words.
Yeah,
well,
I was
it's
gonna say
really
they
fun.
wouldn't use the F-bomb, but
Well, it's like, for example, if you're traveling on Highway 2, Ted, you're on that road, little narrow little mountain road, and in the summertime, when the ranchers, they're moving their herds of cattle across the road, the Californians would complain, saying you're impacting the flow of traffic. In which case, this is actually in the newspaper. The cowboy took out his gun, shot 2 tires on the Californian's car, and said, "So now you have something to complain about." They called the sheriff and charged the Californian with causing a public nuisance. So,
amazing. Like, that's just
don't move to Montana if you don't want cattle. I mean,
if you don't want Montana, don't move to Montana. Like, that's what comes, like, that's the thing. And it's like with children,
well, they want the scenery, but not the people.
That's dumb. But like with children, you can't treat them like this. I don't know even what to call it. Like, children want to play in the dirt.
That's the word. Is pussies. Don't pussify your kids. Let them go outside and play.
They naturally want to run around and play in the dirt and touch and explore and taste, and that's how they learn the world. And so all of these, I guarantee you, if we were to dig deeper into this allergen research, I guarantee you the vast majority of the kids that have these types of super sensitivities are concentrated in places like Portland and Los Angeles and San Francisco and DC and Manhattan. It's going to be concentrated in those
stories. This story is about the decline, right? So obviously reporting is down. That. So does that mean, like, why are things, do you think more people are sort of just, not using, handy wipes everywhere they go, and they're just sort of being more chill, or there's just underreporting going on?
I think this is over the last 10 years. And I think a lot of it has to do with this new naturalistic movement of mamas now turning, obviously I'm in that category, right? Of kids in the past, having kids in the past 10 years. There's been a switch to more moms trying to go the natural route instead of being like, I'm gonna wipe down every counter. I'm gonna do every, I'm gonna put 2 pairs of shoes on my kid. There are more moms like me over the past 10 years that have rejected that and want them, despite me. Yes. I used to clean the microphone every day before I got on air at Sputnik. Right. But that's a me thing. And my face and mouth are going to be right here. And, so that's apart from that, I walk around barefoot outside of my house. I don't care. I go walk in the grass. I think it's good for you. Grounding.
I used to walk barefoot in front of my dorm on campus, and cross the street to get the newspaper barefoot, and in the snow sometimes. And people would be like,
"Oh, I don't know about
how
that.
How could you do that? Look at you!" Blah 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 blah. My favorite example of that is I was at South by Southwest in Austin, and I went down to the lobby of the hotel to, I don't know, get coffee or something. And some tech bros see me and they're like, no shoes. Are you promoting something? I'm like, no, I just didn't feel like putting on shoes. Why am I putting on shoes?
Just down in the lobby, man.
Yeah, I'm going to the lobby. What's going to fucking happen? Nothing. I've been doing this my entire life. I'm 62 years old. Nothing happens. It's your feet. You were meant to walk on them. That's what God gave them to you for. You weren't born with shoes.
When I was homeless as a kid, I almost never got sick. I mean, you just get an immune system that can attack squirrels. I mean, it's either that or you die. They'll talk about Darwinism. If you want to roll Rall style, talk about eugenics. If you want to just breed out the weak, that's what you do. You just roll Spartan style. Just put them in the agogay, send them out, and just give them a cloak in the middle of the winter.
I think that soap and water has its place for sure, but and some of the best moments of my life have involved soap and water.
And shoes are important.
And shoes are very, very useful. And ancient people wore them, fashioned their own shoes and stuff. But and it's very interesting. If you guys ever watched that show, that reality show, Naked and Afraid,
no.
So basically, the plot is they take two people who don't know each other, usually a man and a woman. They're naked. They're dropped off in the middle of nowhere, like in Africa.
Is it a dating show?
No, it's not a dating show, and sex doesn't happen in this show. It's not
Oh.
about that. It's about survival. And basically,
Oh.
they have to make it 21 days living off the land, right? And
Naked?
what's really
Yeah.
naked, and what's really interesting, it's all survivalists who do this. And the interesting part is there'll be these big steroided ex-Marines, and they get killed like on day one. They step on a thorn or something, they're fucked. They get an infection, that's it, they're done. And like basically, your feet our feet don't have the patina that's like that it should have from walking around barefoot for years. And then you'd be protected. You could step on a fucking thorn if you had
and do you know like people's ankles and shit like that like are weaker now, and like our shin bones are weaker than any other period in history, because now we have shoes that are like these big chunky soles, because you want that bounce when you walk, and like it's apparently really actually bad for you orthopedically speaking.
We're breeding out toughness. I mean, like for example, apparently men used to be.
If a fucking peanut can take you down, Ted.
True, but an animal can be like, like men used to be a lot hairier, and there's a whole theory that like there's less testosterone in Western men in particular, because like they're like more testosterone-y guys tend to be more aggressive, so they end up in prison or being executed in higher numbers, and therefore they're removed from society. They're removed from the dating and reproduction pool, and those who are allowed to reproduce are the calmer, less testosterone-y, less aggressive, less hairy guys.
It's about the warrior gene, right?
Interesting. Yeah. I would like to see that. So look, there's a fine line between like there's something with your male testosterone that when it converts, it becomes like something tase. I forget. So if you have a lot of body hair, like it's an indicator of high testosterone, but you start losing your head hair, but you get a lot of body hair. So there's like two kinds. Your body converts something. I forget what it's called, but I would like to see a survey of men in prison to see if they are neck down hairy, like hairy arms, hairy, because my very uncommon. Well, I'm sure this is like the Mongolian gene, but like my mom's side, her dad, my grandpa, my maternal grandfather, his side of the family, hairy AF, like the hairiest Asians you're ever gonna meet. His arms, like I remember I used to comb his arm hairs, but he was balding up here.
He's like Armenian.
Yeah, he was like I used to pet my grandpa's arm hairs.
I had an Armenian girlfriend who she was furry everywhere. And I do mean
testosterone
everywhere.
in that handsome lady.
Even on her breasts, it was like,
Oh.
Yeah.
Hairy breasts?
She had hairy breasts. It's like she had like a fur kind of.
Like peach fuzz or like
like
hair?
longer than peach fuzz and black.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But it was soft like peach fuzz.
A little coarser than
I mean,
that.
it's not gruff like men's.
No, no, it wasn't gruff. It was actually, I have to admit, it was kind of pleasant.
Weird. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so my grandfather
Well, you're not a
was
carpenter. I would hope you wouldn't see
manly
that.
man. So like I've never seen that. And I was in gym class, from like 6th grade to 12th grade. So
I was
never
deeply
noticed hairy
concerned
boob.
in gym class when I was like 13, 14, and my classmates had like bush and I didn't have shit. And I remember talking to my dad and I was like, so, and he's like, us Ralls, we're late bloomers. Don't worry. It'll happen.
Well, there you go. But that's what it is. The testosterone. Anyway, we're deviating off, but I think really the 10-year study qualifies for women like me, because as you know, a lot of people are starting late and women are having children later, and in my cohort, I would say a lot of us are like yogi types, right? It's like a very fashionable thing, right? Like even in California, all the coastal cities. So even if we were to measure just the coastal children, there was a return to going natural in California, being barefoot, going for hikes, eating all natural foods, whole foods, like that whole thing. It's a thing in California. So we were also the idiots that started the whole gluten-free, peanuts, whatever. But then there was like a backlash to that, I would say, in the last 10 years, and everyone started being like, oh, I want to eat whole foods, natural foods, foods that aren't processed. And therefore those women are introducing their children, like I did with my son, introducing them to these types of foods. So I hope that trend continues and we get away from all of the fucking hormones that you're pumping into your children by giving them packaged foods. Like I
hope that women start getting married and start having kids a lot younger than what they have been. I think that will do such a big thing.
That'll be more likely to happen if if the disparity of wealth is addressed. If it's more affordable for people.
I agree.
Life's tough for young people.
It is,
and they're putting off marriage because they don't think they can afford it.
Last health topic. We got to do one last health topic, and then we're out of here because we're
a new national survey has uncovered a worrying reality. Most Americans are living with at least one major risk factor for cardiovascular, kidney, or metabolic disease. Doctors call it an overlapping epidemic hiding in plain sight. According to new findings released this week, about 90% of American adults have at least one of 5 key risk factors for what experts are now calling CKM syndrome, cardiovascular kidney metabolic syndrome. That's a relatively new term linking 3 interconnected conditions: heart disease, kidney disease, and metabolic disorders like obesity and diabetes. Researchers say this syndromic approach recognizes that these diseases share common roots: poor diet, excess weight, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and high cholesterol, and they often reinforce one another. The survey, published by the American Heart Association and the CDC, finds the following: more than half of adults have high blood pressure or pre-hypertension. Nearly 40% are obese. Nearly 1 in 8 adults already shows reduced kidney function, and roughly 1 in 3 has either pre-diabetes or diabetes. The overlap is what alarms experts the most. CKM syndrome is now becoming the dominant pattern of chronic disease in the U.S., driving millions of hospitalizations, heart attacks, strokes, and kidney failures every year. But don't worry, Republicans have a health care plan or they have a plan for a plan, or the concept of a plan, or maybe no plan. Dr. Chiadi Numeli, who chairs the American Heart Association Committee on CKM Health, says the goal is early detection, not just waiting for full-blown disease. He compared it to catching the smoke before the fire. Researchers stress that simple interventions make a huge difference: cutting sodium, increasing fiber and plant-based foods, getting regular exercise, and routine screening for blood pressure, glucose, and kidney function. Yet many Americans aren't aware that they're at risk because early stages of CKM cause almost no symptoms. The findings also show striking disparities. Black and Hispanic adults have higher rates of obesity, hypertension, and diabetes, while lower income and rural populations face the steepest barriers to preventative care. Health leaders say the report underscores the need for team-based cross-specialty treatment, cardiologists, nephrologists, and endocrinologists working together, and stronger public health campaigns that treat these conditions as one unified threat. The takeaway, experts say, is sobering but empowering. Heart, kidney, and metabolic health are deeply connected, meaning small changes in one area can ripple across all 3. In short, protect one system and you're helping to protect them all. Manila,
Ted. Like, what is wrong with Westerners? The Eastern medicine has said this for 2,500 years, maybe 3,000 years. We've known that everything is interconnected, and now it's like,
everything's holistic.
America's got to study.
Well, think about how we have separate insurance for dentistry and eye care, right? I mean, why? I mean, if you have you have an infection, it can get into your eye. It's not like your eye is segregated from the rest of your body. If you have gum issues, that's a huge vector for disease that can affect you in all sorts of other ways. Again, dentistry shouldn't be covered separately. We need this is one of the reasons that we need Medicare for all. We need a national healthcare system, and it's for a reason that everyone always thinks about it'll be more affordable. And that's true. But what we really need is a national medical database so that all of your medical records are in one place, as things currently stand. If this happened to me, I was in Washington, D.C., I got sick, I went to urgent care, they gave me meds, they diagnosed me, I had x-rays. Those records sit in the urgent care in Washington. I live in New York. My New York doctors are never going to see that. I switch, let's say my medical insurance stops, I go to Mount Sinai. Let's say they stop doing Mount Sinai. So I switch to another system. All my records sit in the Mount Sinai portal. They never make it over to NYU, right? And so on. And so, like everybody, I have medical records scattered all over the place in different cities, in different offices in the same city. My dentist doesn't talk to my ophthalmologist, doesn't talk to my GP ever, right? The hernia doctor I only saw the hernia doctor that one time, never to be seen again. It's like, so that's ridiculous. There's all of this stuff should be in one place. Let's say that you're like on vacation in Colorado and like you pass out. The EMS people should be able to pull up and see.
The medical records should be yours and not.
They should literally be able to find them, even if it's just from your ID or maybe facial recognition. And people are like, the
way we have like a FICO score.
I don't believe in medical privacy. I don't think like no one should be ashamed of being HIV positive. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just a fucking disease. And like, and no one should be ashamed of having an STI. Again, it's just a fucking disease. And it's like there should be, and if you don't have a health insurance industry that's going to hold it against you for having insurance, the point is this is not something that there's no reason for HEPA. It shouldn't be private. It's like, it should be, we need a national healthcare system.
Well, look,
just like everyone else in the world has.
I would say, I always thought the same thing about healthcare or your health records, because it was very annoying, right? Even before all of this shit was digitized. I mean, I became an adult.
You have to
before all
fax
this
them
shit.
Still. Have your doctor fax them.
You have to go chase down whatever, right? From this doctor to that
and you have
doctor,
to take
that
a time
facility.
portal back to 1986 to get a fax machine.
So it was like just fucking awful. I always thought that we should, and I thought this when I worked in the car industry because I was running people's credit, right? Like, I can see your FICO score. I can see your Experian score. I can see your TransUnion score. I can see why. Like, I could see that you had your credit checked at 3 other dealerships before you came to mine. Why is that not possible for the health system, right? Like, because that is your health record. It should go with you. It doesn't belong to NYU Langone. It doesn't belong to DC, Sibley in DC, right? It belongs to Ted Rall. Like, it should go with you, like your FICO score, right? Like, so anyone that needs to pull it up can see it.
Honestly, it should be international. I mean,
let's say when I was
in
the hospital in Rome.
If I'm in Budapest, they should be able to pull that up. Why not?
I wish there was like some universal way. And I think Robbie says they're working towards that because obviously he works in medical records. He would know. But to this particular topic of like this, I think it's so silly. And this is me speaking as an Asian woman, like, oh, CKM, like the American Heart Association, like, hello, Eastern holistic medicine has only known about the connections to all of these systems, these different body systems. They are all interconnected, but Western medicine treats all of these systems as independent of one another. And that's just not the case. In Eastern philosophy medicine, we know that there are things that are interconnected and how your heart and your kidneys work with one another, and the pulmonary system works with this, and like all your different meridian lines. That's been a known thing for thousands of years in Eastern medicine. it's so cute that the American Heart Association is finally getting around to this 2,000 years later. Congratulations. So all of this boils down to why, like, at least in my Eastern culture, we believe a lot of it, you can be healed by food. You can be healed by what you put into your body in the first place. And now they're saying, oh, obviously all 90% of Americans are obese. So this is the whole thing. Western culture looking at everything as autonomous, independent systems when that's not true. The food is the source of life. That is the source of your allergies. That is the source of everything.
It's also the source of death if you eat in the United States.
That's right. That's exactly right. So my whole thing is like, our medical system is completely fucked up, and everybody is going to be like 9 out of 10 of us are going to be on fucking life support and too obese to, they're going to have to get a crane to lift you out of your apartment. Like, because our food system is fucked. We're poisoning everybody. And
apparently
this is the end result.
Trump and RFK don't seem to have been serious about doing anything about this.
No, RFK is doing something about it. Trump's just eating his what's he doing besides the vaccines and stuff? He's taking food coloring, like food dyes and shit out of food. He's making, like, Coca-Cola is even dropping. They're going back to natural sugar. That's a step in the right direction.
Okay,
I think
right,
RFK Jr. is
actually
the most prolific
HHS
secretary. In 9 months, I think he's been the most prolific HHS secretary that we've ever had in the span of since 1945 that we've started
Robbie's
having
right.
these people.
He's not doing anything about preservatives, and that's the big problem.
He's 9 months into office. Give these people a chance. Like, this is moving in the right direction. You can't do everything all at once, right? Like, this is we live in a linear timeline, and there's only so many.
The dude's literally in charge of. I love it when the people say that. How many employees does he control? Tens of thousands, right?
And they're moving towards this direction. To me, that is more than anybody fucking else before. If I had 10,000
people working for me, all sorts of shit would be happening.
That's what you think until you work in the federal government, Ted. I have an inside to know how you get fucked working in the federal government. I can tell you because it's just not, the federal government does not work the way.
Despite the reputation for lightning quick efficiency.
So it just doesn't work that way. So given all that I know personally and what I've seen so far in 9 months 8 months really since he was confirmed, that RFK is confirmed, most prolific HHS secretary we've seen since 1945 when this shit began. And it's so cute that Western medicine finally realized that, oh, your heart and diabetes and all the kidneys, it's all works together because the kidneys have to rinse your blood, and clean out all the junk from your blood. Oh, it's so cute. I'm not even an MD and I knew that. It's the whole function of your kidneys. Hello, the nephrologist. Hello, can somebody talk to, like, Xi Jinping and ask him to have some, like, Eastern herbalist doctors on call for American doctors, like, please, because obviously America needs help. We're 2,000 years behind. That's all I'm saying. I think it's cute.
Leave that there.
So, all right. That's it. That's my rant. We've done, like, health stuff today because why not? But yeah, I think. Thank you for the donation, Sir Bikes a Lot. A suggestion for tomorrow's show: what if the Venezuela war isn't for oil, but for importing cocaine into the USA? Afghanistan was about opium trade. Check it out. Drugs as weapons against. Oh, check out. I guess it's a book. Drugs as Weapons Against Us by John Potash. Huh. Okay. That's an interesting. I don't know. All I'll say about Venezuela is, prior to this, the Trump administration was all China, 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 the threat, China balloon. And that was all Biden administration too. China, 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 Chinese spy balloon, China, China, China. And then out of nowhere, he's like, Venezuela's a drug lord country. What? Okay. Oh, did we do any ads? Were we supposed to do one?
Yeah,
sorry.
We did. Or no? I don't know.
We did? Do we have to do it? Oh, okay. All right. So we can leave it. All right. So that'll do it for us. We'll see what's cracking tomorrow, but the Venezuela stuff I think is
we'll talk about Venezuela.
It's a topic for sure.
We'll talk about it.
Thank you for the donation. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back mañana. Thank you. Adios amigos. Happy Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. Bye.